I am at Edpuzzle today, and I'm going to take you through how to utilize Edpuzzle both in your classroom and those of you who want to use this for professional development for others as well. This is a great tool for doing that, so you'll get some information regarding both of those by watching this next few minutes of this video. To begin, Edpuzzle, just a small introduction, is a video editing tool that allows you to add questions embedded within the video. It allows you to crop the video a little bit. It allows you to kind of add some voiceovers or some voice notes to a video. And with that powerful set of tools, it allows me to do a better job of flipping my classrooms and my classroom activities rather, and my lessons, as well as do a better job of professional development and making sure that with our tight schedules, this allows me to post a video or instructions for how to do something without actually meeting one-on-one with our staff. They can go in on their own time and go through the steps, watch the video, and I can see that they've done that. Getting into that now, you're going to start by signing up. When you sign up, if you're a Google school district and if you use Google Classroom, I definitely encourage you to sign up using your school issued Google account, as it syncs very well with Google Classroom. I have already used my Google account to set up this account, and I'm going to log in using my school issued Google account, and we'll get into some of the things that I can do. Another thing that I did when I signed up, I told Edpuzzle that I teach computers or tech, in which case it said, hey, who else in that district teaches computers and tech, and went out to anyone that might have downloaded or used a computer or tech lesson and added those to my little home screen or dashboard. Joe and Britton have done a couple things in there, so those are videos that show up for that reason. Same thing would happen if you were signed up for math, for example, and 3 or 4 other teachers in your district also were using math lessons. Those would show up here. Trending in computers at this time, this thing's ever changing as well, and the different things pop up, most pertaining to computers in some way, digital citizenship here, etc. But some things not so much. Having said that, there's your trending in computers, and yours would be trending in whatever subject you chose. Trending in Ohio, trending in the United States are altogether different. These are lessons that have been posted just throughout the state of Ohio, things that are popular right now, and in the United States, things that are popular across the board in the United States. And I can see more of those by selecting these options, see more underneath of each of those categories. Under curriculum, you see a breakdown of middle school, elementary, and high school. And if I'm interested in elementary lessons and really want to kind of filter down into these, I can start by selecting elementary and one of these options, or over here, other curricular areas. And if I choose social studies, that takes me out to some social studies lessons for the elementary. And backing up, I can go back to curriculum from here where I get the same page. And from there, I'm going to move down to the Willard Middle School, High School. When I signed up, I also signed up as a Willard High School middle school teacher. So elementary people, you have to test this theory for me, but let me know if yours comes back with elementary school here as your option. Either way, I can still get to elementary content, as you've seen, and vice versa. So don't let that worry you too much. It just allows you to see what group level or what group you're in. My content is the most important part of the Edpuzzle website. That is where you would find your content. Now, at the first time you log in, there's going to be no content in here, and you will have to add content. To do that is very simple. These areas where you have popular channels are the locations where you will find multiple videos on just about anything you can imagine. So if I'm looking for history or social studies specifically, I've got all kinds of things on, if they're categorized correctly, on history and social studies. So I decide I want one of these as a lesson for my own. I would suggest whatever you do, you watch it first So if you're going into the writing process, you would watch the video and you would get some idea or some gist of what this video has. And if you like that video, you'd say, copy this over to my content. Notice that one has no questions here. Some of these have little location or button, radio buttons beside them, / bullets beside them. These bullets, if you will, are indicating what type of thing is listed here. In some cases, you've got some things added here. This one's called a voiceover, which I'll show you, along with 4 questions on this. Some of these have some audio notes and some questions. So to get those, we're going to set some up here in a minute. But the nice thing about Edpuzzle, this is the only link where those have been preset. Not all of them, but a lot of them. So if you go in and you decide you want one of these with these questions, I'd watch it first. I'd take a look at the questions and make sure these are questions that you want to ask your students also. If you go copy and edit or copy it over to your content right now, that's the easiest place to view it, because once it's in your content and you open it up, you can actually edit this now that it's part of your content, and you can click through the questions this way more quickly and see if these are all spelled correctly and if they're questions that you actually want to ask. If they're not, this is yours now, so you can edit this by changing wording here or deleting the question entirely. You see that they cropped this section of the video out and the end of this video out. You can add some voiceover content as well. Some audio notes. So if you want to give some objectives beforehand, you could record yourself there if you've got a microphone, and then the students roll into the video from there. Quizzes, in my opinion, could be better labeled instead of saying quizzes, questions, as each one of these is a question in itself. Each time we add a question, it may be combined with the rest to form a quiz, but ultimately, whenever you add another question, you're asked to type the question there and the students provide the answer. Or in this case, multiple choice, you can add some other answers as well. You can have more than one answer that's correct if you'd like to go that option. And the last is a comment response. So once you're finished with this, if you've added more questions, maybe you've deleted some questions, you can save that, and that is now your own content. I'm going to back up for now to my content again. And once it's edited, once it's in this location, it is yours until you determine that you want it gone. You want to get rid of it. I will say at this time that there is a limit. The free version allows you 20 videos to store, and you will have to, with the free version, get rid of some of these if you don't want them. So to do that, I check the box, and down at the bottom, this list appears, and I delete it and confirm deletion. So you will have to kind of juggle these around as you get closer to 20 videos. It's been pretty sufficient for me in what I do. Some teachers, you may have this fill up a lot faster than I will, but for the most part, very few are using this yet in our district. So I do not intend to go with a school plan yet for cost. Rather, I'd like to see us develop a problem of using this every single day to the point where everyone's using this quite often, or at least the majority are using this quite often on a daily or weekly basis. And that would be a good problem to have. Then, we could start looking into some other options. But for now, 20 videos is pretty sufficient. Moving on. Edpuzzle is the only location where I've got these pre-loaded questions from other teachers that have posted these. YouTube and the others are just videos, so you don't have to add your own questions. And one such video that I used from here was this free solo, which we'll be getting to in a second. YouTube, I can search for any video just like I'm at YouTube. And so I'm going to give an example. I'm going to type in here Schoolhouse Rock, which I have a couple examples of. And it shows me all these different Schoolhouse Rock videos that are available at YouTube. And I can make these my own by selecting copy this. Okay, copy this, and that sends them over to my content. Now notice what happens here. There are 3 questions. Now I set those 3 questions up. To do that, here's what I did. Once I made this part of my content, I selected the pencil tool. I elected to crop the beginning of this by just sliding this bar a little bit to the right, because there was a little commercial at the beginning that I thought, man, we don't really need to see that. I can add voiceovers, which I have not done. And I can also add some audio notes. So again, if I want to give an objective here or some instructions as to what's to be done, that's a good place and a good way to do that. Lastly is this quizzes button. And again, I've added a couple questions here already. What is a bill? What's this building called? What is a veto? And certainly I could add some more questions. This was just a sample.
About you?
And
Yeah,
maybe,
I'm one of the lucky ones.
Maybe what I do here is ask, more about what happens to a bill if it doesn't become a law, or if it's voted down or vetoed, etc. So I could add the question myself, again, by adding the question outright for a specific short answer, or multiple choice, okay, or again, just a comment answer for there. That is a quick way of adding the questions, cropping video, and adding some voiceovers. It's that simple. Just make sure you save after you've done that. Diving in now to how do I make these viewable for my students in the whole class at the same time? Well, up here in the very top right-hand corner, I mentioned before to you that I use Google Classroom, and I'm seeing more and more of our staff using Google Classroom quite a bit, and that is a good thing. And certainly the more and more that use this, the even better. But my classes are listed here. Very simply, to add your Google Classroom classes to Edpuzzle, you need to make sure you're logged into your Google account, and you'll simply go down here to import from Google Classroom, which point it goes out and finds all the other classes that I've been teaching, and it allows me to select a checkbox and import those classes as well if I opt to do so. Down here you see a couple classes that I have already imported. Once they're imported, that's all there is to it. They're in your Edpuzzle, and you have some options over here if you want to get rid of them later on, but know that you can import those directly, and it's that fast. Once that's finished, you would go into your content. So right now, I'm going to go back to my content. I want to make this an assignment. A couple ways to do that: check the box, assign it, or you can just kind of go out to the video again and assign it from here. So if I assign this, first thing you'll see is a few of my Google Classrooms. Which one do I want to assign it to? Which date do I want that to be due, and what time? And I can also, from there, I didn't save that, but that's okay. I can also select or deselect prevent skipping. So this allows a student to skip through some of that video or not. Okay, so I would see if it's 45-minute video or so, yeah, you might want to offer the option of allowing students to kind of bounce around and find the answers on their own by moving throughout the video where they'd like. But if it's a few minutes here and there, maybe you want them to watch the entire thing. Same down here with posting to Google Classroom. You have the option of toggling that on and off, and then assigning it to the classroom you checked. Now I've already done this, so I'm going to click later here. Now once the assignment has been placed in Google Classroom, you also have, and the only place you have to grade that would be under Gradebook on Edpuzzle. This is an Edpuzzle assignment, so this is where you actually grade it. Now, Alan did this for me, and if your name is here, don't be too panicked. It just means you were part of this one-to-one staff training at one point a couple years ago. And so here we have Alan has taken this little video quiz, and you see he received 100%. That's what I have to do. I had to grade it. but this is the part he had to do: watch it and answer the questions. So here is each of the answers that Alan provided. I would grade it by selecting the check that is correct, or the X if it's incorrect. The problem with this as of now, I don't see where, and I'm sure it's here somewhere, where I can change these values. So there's a challenge for you folks to go out and let me know where that is listed. But I'd imagine we can change that. I just haven't looked for it. Moving on, I can see also not just Alan's stuff that's listed here. I can go previous student, next student, and grade those papers that way, or grade that assignment that way as well. Under the free solo assignment up here, I can see the entire class, how much of the video they've watched in this snapshot, how many I've graded or have yet to grade, okay, how many turned it in and on time or late. Again, some pretty nice options there for breaking that down and actually seeing just that video. We do not have a full-fledged LMS. Edmodo, and there's some others out there where you can just export those grades directly into that learning management system. We, at this point, will just have to download those grades, throw them in a folder in a spreadsheet format, and you can add those to your grade book, progress book, later on if you so chose. Beyond that, that is a quick introduction, very quick introduction to Edpuzzle and some of the things that you can do in it. I didn't give you huge details in regards to how to break down every single one of these, but you can go in on your own, play a little bit inside here, and figure some of this stuff out. Remember, the keys are making a copy of the video first to your content, and then you edit that with questions and cropping and voiceovers, etc. from that point. If you want to integrate that into Google Classroom, very simple to do through My Classes, and then grade the work through the grade book that's built into Edpuzzle. Beyond that, if you have any questions, please make sure you post those to me. I'll have this out on YouTube, and I will also have this available to staff who can email me at white.mark@willardschools.org or markwhite@willardcityschools.org. Hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully I see more and more of you using it in your own classrooms, as it is a great tool for, again, flipping the classroom and adding some really nice options for kids to learn from.